Hi, I'm Ginger and I'm really excited to tell you about the Weaver's Rapid Warp Loom. I love to weave, but warping the loom is a whole other matter. With a standard rigid heddle loom, whether you're using a warping board or direct warp using a peg, you know the process is going to take a lot of time. Threading each and every hole through the heddle, tying on the warp threads, adjusting the tension, and wrapping the warp onto the beam, they all require a lot of attention and most of all, a lot of time. Okay. Let me show you just how easy it was. If you'll notice, we've locked the heddle, the Easy Warp heddle, onto the loom, securing it in place, and we've removed the support legs. All you do is take your warp thread and tie it to the first hook here on the front end of your loom. You're going to then just start spinning the loom. Your first pass is not going to hook into the heddle, so just put it on the side here. And then from that point on, you're going to thread your heddle. One spin at a time. And it's just that easy. Catch your heddle as you go by. Catch your guide and tension spots as you go around the ends. And your loom is completely warping itself. No threading, no tying, and no wrapping. And you're just going to keep warping and spinning all the way across. Now obviously, if I were going to do a smaller project and didn't want the whole width of the loom warped, I would just measure out and center my piece across the heddle. This would also go faster if I was wearing my glasses. And there you go. All your warping and threading is done. And with a little bit of practice, your tension is consistent all the way across. Now for the fun part. First we'll replace the support legs so that it sits in one position. And this is adjustable, so you can set it at any height that is comfortable for you to weave at. Once your legs are secured at the height that you want to weave at, you're going to remove the wing nut from the end of your heddle and remove the little bracket that holds it in place. So you're going to loosen those up on both ends. Once you've removed your brackets, secure both of your handles in either end. Once both handles are secure, then lift your heddle up onto the rails. Now if your tension is really tight, you may have to loosen it either here or on the far end to give yourself a little room to move. I warped this pretty tight, so I had to loosen the tension just a little bit, and I'm going to retighten it. But as I rotate the heddle up onto the rail, you can see I've created my shed for my first throw of the shuttle right here. I'm not only going to be able to weave on these threads on top of the loom, but as I rotate my work around, I'll be able to use this portion, creating an entire 83 inches of warp. I'm going to leave my heddle set in the neutral position, and I'm going to retighten my tension. There are tension adjustments at both ends of the heddle, and it's really a matter of discovering how tight or how loosely you want to weave. If you weave too loose, you run the danger of the threads popping out of the heddle. So you'll want to keep it relatively tight and firm. Run it too tightly and you won't be able to move your heddle freely. But it's very easy, and it takes you about a minute to figure out how you want your tension to be for your project. All you're going to do to weave, rather than lifting and lowering the heddle, is to turn it either towards you or away from you. It doesn't matter which direction you turn, as long as you turn the same direction every time. As you can see, I've got my first shed here. I turn it to neutral, and my threads go to the neutral position. And when I turn it again, I'm creating a different shed, which is going to allow me to do my weaving. You can beat clear down to the base of the loom here, but I really like to use a couple of weaving sticks. Today I'm just going to use a longer shuttle, and I'm going to put it in here right at the base. And that's going to help hold my shed in place. I turn the heddle, beat, down to my stick, slide it back on my heddle again, and throw. One thing I found with this loom that's different from my typical rigid heddle is that I can see the shed so much easier, and for some reason that really helps me keep my selvage edges consistent. I seem to get a much smoother edge and a much more consistent edge on both sides with this loom. When you get about this much cloth on your loom, then you're going to want to just simply rotate the entire piece so that you continue to weave right here. It's really simple to do. Put your or your heddle into a neutral position, loosen your tension just slightly, not a whole lot, and then use your heddle to move the entire piece around the loom. Because of the guides on either end, it's going to move really easily, and it's going to keep your tension all the same all the way across. The only thing you might have to do is loosen your beginning string here just a little bit so that it has room to move. Check out our facts and frequently asked question page. We hope you'll enjoy the Weaver's Rapid Warp Loom as much as we do.